Hi, I'm Avaris RK, and this is The Winter Tower. It's by Everium, the same dev team who did Under the Thorns, and it looked kind of interesting. It's also on Steam, and check out the art. It just looks so cute. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Cute little ice gnomes. And we'll also get a chance to see if they exclusively write, like, Victorian novel style. Probably not. It should be interesting. So we'll get to see. The Winter Tower. Oh, the art is beautiful. It's beautiful. All right. I guess I should get the Steam thing so I don't have errors. Prelude. Chapter 0. I, Ekaterina Ivanova, would have said, I was a rather happy person up until yesterday.
It's time to stop playing hard to get, Catty. It's quite unattractive.
Correction. I would have said I was an overwhelmingly happy person up until yesterday. Quit your blabbering and get out of my sight. I must finish packing.
Oh, my dear Catty. Even when you act coldly, your words are music to my ears. But you know, it can't be safe for a woman to live in the middle of nowhere all alone. Won't you reconsider?
Ah, but this way I won't have to look at your revolting face. And what a relief that will be.
At least in this castle there are guards and servants. What if something or someone breaks in and tries to harm you while you're there? I even hear rumors that a monster lives in that area.
Igor.
Yes.
I have no doubt the rapier I received as a birthday present from my father is more than enough to silence both you and that monster once and for all.
Rapier.
Okay, so she's a swordswoman. Nice. Oh, probably could have guessed that from the armor she was wearing. Wouldn't you agree?
That rapier of yours seems a bit too long to be effective for self-defense. I will buy you a decorative dagger to hang in your display case instead.
This weapon isn't simply for show. I received proper combat training.
Eek!
Igor screeched and stepped back when I pulled the rapier out of my waistband. Coward. Ekaterina! What are you doing to your brother? Dang it. Siren stormed towards me from the end of the hallway. To be clear, Siren wasn't her real name. Rather, it was Melissa. But hear me out. Sirens were known to seduce sailors with their beautiful voices and ultimately cause shipwrecks. It was similar to how Melissa used her beauty to seduce my father and overthrow the castle from within. Okay, so evil stepmom. Gotcha. Put that thing away this instant!
I guess I should have given her a sterner voice. Oh well.
Much to my disappointment, I was forced to put away my rapier without even giving it a single thrust. We were only having a friendly chat. I told you to pack for your trip to the Winter Tower, and here you are scheming to hurt your brother.
Oh my, that was her brother who was hit? Ugh. Ew.
Are you trying to disgrace our family?
Nah, bro was doing just fine doing that on his own.
You would have kicked me out the moment I lunged at him. You'll never know how many times I had to swallow the urge. And as far as being a disgrace goes, you and your son are the ones who deserve that title.
Oh, she is not holding back. Okay. Mother is correct. Besides, it's distasteful for a girl to carry around a sword. Oh, we're doing this song and dance. Okay.
Distasteful is the perfect word to describe your perverse behavior.
Imagine how disappointed your father would be if he saw you like this, Ekaterina. His wish is for you to get married and live happily ever after.
Yeah, right. Who can say? Perhaps father simply wants me to be virtuous as the rightful heir to the Ivanov family.
It's time for you to accept that Igor is the rightful heir to this family.
Is that what father told you before he lost consciousness?
Tch!
Siren's face flushed hot when I attacked the flaw in her statement. "Aren't you done packing yet? Get out of here already!" "Until we meet again." I turned around and focused my attention on the bag I had packed earlier. In it were changes of clothes, toiletries, a first aid kit, a pocket knife, and stationery. Other items of note that weren't in the bag included the rapier strapped to my waist, and a bit of money in my pocket. Was there anything else I should bring with me, I wondered. I'm just gonna keep getting errors, I guess. Yes, there was. No, there wasn't. Time to head out. I'm curious. If I say yes, there's something that we're missing. I know nothing about this character, where they live, or anything else, but I think we are missing something. And you know what it is? Blackmail material on our 2 family members to keep them in line. I don't know if that's what it is, though, but we'll find out. I headed to the garden with my luggage. Romanov was already waiting in the garden and greeted me with a smile.
"Here are the items you requested, my lady."
I examined the pouch Romanov handed me, then placed it in the inner pocket of my coat. "Okay, unknown item received. Thank you very much." "Thank you, Romanov. Please look after my father. You're the only one I can entrust this task with."
"Your wish is my command. Please take care of yourself, my lady."
"And you as well." Ooh, I am loving these backgrounds. Actually, that's just something of the Everium team in general. Like, I've got to check out most of their games at some point, because their art is absolutely gorgeous. As I approached the castle gates, I spotted Shadow, my favorite horse, trotting towards me in the distance. "Let's go, Shadow." I signaled to my horse that it was time to begin our journey. She stomped her feet with confidence, then rapidly galloped down the road. The accident had occurred the morning prior. My father, who quite enjoyed horse riding, had been unconscious ever since he fell off his horse. He was fortunate enough to survive. Dang, and that happened when you had to leave? That's convenient in all the wrong ways. However, his head hit the ground so hard that he still hadn't recovered. If father passed away before long, it was natural that I would succeed his title. There was no question about it.
Do you have enough nobles supporting you in that endeavor?
Or at least there wouldn't be, if not for his second marriage. Neither was a catch. Siren and her son, Igor, shared no blood relation to me or my father. Whether by law or tradition, however, it was the eldest child who stood to inherit the title. Considering Igor's age, it was very possible he could be named the heir. However, I was the rightful heir by blood.
That all-important royal blood thing.
To prevent further conflict, my Lord Father was to formally announce his successor eventually.
He really should have done that before taking another wife, to be honest.
Although he respected my right of succession, he hadn't finalized his decision, as he wished to take my future marriage into consideration.
That's some BS right there, but okay.
In his will, he described in great detail how the inheritances would be split. However, his decision on who would succeed his title was nowhere to be found. Of course, he was simply trying to be generous by giving me time to think everything through until I turned 18, when I would be eligible to succeed him. However, Siren and her son went berserk when they heard tell of my father's accident. She forced me to make a decision, either agree to an arranged marriage or leave the castle and have a coming-of-age ceremony. Either way, I couldn't just stand there and do nothing, so I declared that I would undergo my coming-of-age ceremony at the Winter Tower. Most coming-of-age ceremonies simply involved moving out after marriage, but our family tradition was to spend a year at the Winter Tower. A year? That's a lot of time for Siren, Melissa, and Igor to do some real damage back home. I don't think you thought this through too well. Oh well, fairy tale rules probably apply, right? Of course, no parent wanted to send their child to a foreign land for an entire year, so the tradition was gradually forgotten by the public. Nowadays, this tradition was conducted only once a year, and with only one candidate. Sending Igor in my stead wasn't an option, as he'd undergone a different coming-of-age ceremony already. Though, even if he had the opportunity to go, he would surely opt to cry in a corner like a coward instead. Beyond that, I highly doubted that Siren, being the overprotective mother she was, could bear to send her beloved son somewhere out of her reach. In any case, it was for these reasons that I became the caretaker of the Winter Tower and was forced to leave the castle temporarily. Of course, I didn't go empty-handed. It's about time for them to realize something is wrong.
Oh, did you steal like a MacGuffin or something?
I proudly gazed at the blue sapphire ring and the signet ring I wore on my fingers. The first thing I did when Father became bedridden was swap these rings out with fakes and take the real ones. Siren and Igor would soon realize that the rings in their possession were copies. Now Igor had no means of claiming he was the true successor. He might still assume control of the castle, but his influence would be limited. Without the family seal, he wouldn't be able to force me into an arranged marriage either. Although my father would certainly be taken aback if he heard this story, I would just say it wasn't much to ask for my birthday gift. These rings were rightfully mine in the first place, after all. I'm almost there. A week has passed since I started on the road with Shadow. A forest of white birch trees stretched along the frontier, granting it the name the Silver Curtain. Finally, the Winter Tower came into view. The forest keeper I'd contacted ahead of time was waiting to deliver my mission. This path will lead you to the Winter Tower. Remember, if you cross the border or leave the forest, you will fail the mission. You see the ropes hanging along the trees. Make sure not to cross them. Do you have everything you need? I'm traveling light. I rode my horse the entire way here. I'll make the most of what I have. I've been the forest keeper for years, and I'll tell you, it's rare to see someone take the traditional coming-of-age ceremony. I wish you the best of luck, young lady. Thank you for your support. Just 1 year. If I managed to protect these rings from the thieves that were sure to come, I would win. But if they got their hands on them, I would lose. Bring it on. Do your worst. I'll make sure you pay the price on the day I turn 18. To be clear, I had never lost a bet in my life. Chapter 1. Cellar. Ooh. The tower seemed massive, even from afar. Up close, I saw the passage of time engraved into its bricks, much like an old tree that had endured Mother Nature for millennia. I looked around cautiously, the horse reins in my left hand and my rapier in my right, but all I heard was the rustle of leaves from small animals moving about. Good, there's no ambush. Shadow, wait in the forest while I take a look inside. Shadow replied with a neigh and disappeared into the birch forest. So, they say a monster lives here. Oh well. All living creatures have a heart. Nothing a stab from my rapier can't fix. I had never skipped a single training session in my life. I was determined to become Lord Ivanova. I was even confident that I would win most any battle. But of course, that was only if my opponent fought honorably. It was impossible for a single person to fight an army if they weren't a legendary hero. Monster or not, I, Ekaterina Ivanova, shall destroy anything and everything that stands in my way. I drew the rapier from my waist and stormed into the tower. My first obstacle was rather unexpected. It's locked. Here too. No luck with this one either. Nor this one. For some reason, not a single door on any floor would budge. It was as if they were cemented into their frame. This tower hasn't been maintained for a very long time. What's the point of keeping these keys? The keys I'd brought from the castle were useless. What should I do? It was too early to give up. I should search for tools to open the doors. It was impossible to open the doors. I should prepare a camp for the night. You know, there's no reason to abandon the shelter. We should probably just look for some tools. Unless the doors are sealed with magic. Is there a way to figure that out? Oh well, let's try. When I returned outside and looked around the tower, I found a small storage shed and a stable. There should be an axe in there. Unfortunately, the storage shed was locked as well. There was no way to open it through ordinary means. All the doors are locked, and the only thing I can access is the stairwell. This is just too much. Should I just burn this place down? What a reaction! That's overkill. Calm down, take a breath, it's okay. The little devil on my shoulder whispered sweet nothings, tempting me to set this place ablaze and find lodging at the town nearby instead. Well, what should I do now? At this rate, I'll end up sleeping without a roof over my head. You could go inside. You could literally set camp on the stairs like a D&D party would. I couldn't think of a clever solution to get myself out of this situation. As I let out a deep sigh, I spotted a brown cat playing with a small ball in the courtyard. A cat? I suddenly recalled the time Igor gave me a caged bird as a birthday present. He told me that a proper woman should behave like that bird and support her husband quietly from the shadows. It would have been a beautiful story if it had just ended with me kicking him in the crotch and freeing the bird. But the following year, he gave me a kitten. His explanation was that although a bird would escape if it was set free, a cat would never run away if it were well fed. The cat was innocent in this, but it kept reminding me of that disgusting Igor, so I had Romanov take over its care. The cat was surely happier with Romanov than with me in any case. That brown cat reminds me of Igor, too. As it turned out, the round thing it was playing with wasn't a ball, but a rotund hamster. It bothered me, standing by and watching the cat bully that rodent, just like Igor had done to me. How annoying, I should walk away. Let's help the hamster! Goodness. It's one thing to be, like, girl boss, whatever, but goodness gracious, you can stand to do fun things and find joy in life and be a little more flexible and just do stuff. It's okay. Look at that beautiful sky. Just take a deep breath, girl. It's okay. Life isn't as terrible as it seems, and you've already got a good plan. You've done everything you can. It'll be all right. It'll be okay. I stood up and faced the cat to save the smaller creature. The exhausted hamster couldn't run. It simply remained on the ground, trembling. The cat kept tapping at its prey until it got bored, then raised its sharp claws to strike. Suddenly, the hamster sprinted at full speed to escape its doom. As if the first shot had been fired, the cat leapt forward to hunt its prey. No matter how fast the hamster was, there was no way it could escape the agile feline. It was obvious that it would be caught again, but then... What? I thought you were helping, main character! That's what I told you to do! The hamster, in its desperation to live, ran straight at me. Okay, well, you're gonna defend it, right? It swiftly climbed my leg and took refuge in my pocket. Main character, you are useless. Useless! The cat puffed its back and tail out in protest, but dared not attack me. You've had your fun. Scram. The cat hissed a few times, then left when it lost interest. As I watched the cat leave, I felt the warmth of the shivering hamster in my pocket. I walked into the tower and shut the door behind me. No other animals would prey upon the hamster in here, so I placed it on my palm. It peeked at me with nervous eyes. Let's see. I should still have some leftover bread. I gave a couple of breadcrumbs to the hamster. It started stuffing its mouth the moment it realized it was safe to eat. You're okay. The cat's gone now. Squeak, squeak. Oh, it's adorable. The hamster responded as if it understood my words. I carefully put it back on the ground and began thinking to myself, I should bring Shadow inside as well. I couldn't let her stay outside in that shabby stable. There was a stable? She had never lived in a harsh climate before. She would surely freeze to death if left alone in the cold. It's time to decide, Ekaterina. What should I do? I couldn't give up and leave the forest yet. Going back without even trying to face this challenge would be a humiliation to last for decades. And just imagining how Igor would mock me was enraging. Judging from the fact all the doors are locked, I doubt the interior is well maintained either. There was no way to find out what had happened here, since the castle rarely exchanged correspondence with the Winter Tower's keepers. There's supposed to be keepers here? Squeak, 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 squeak. The hamster, which I assumed had already left, made noises at me from a step away. Was Igor trying to mess with you again? She's already named the cat Igor. Okay. Man, I like cats too. Why are the cats evil in this? You just gotta keep them away from hamsters. Squeak, squeak, squeak! When our eyes met, the hamster started to spin in circles on the rug that covered the landing. Is there something on the rug? Or beneath it? Squeak, squeak! Squeak, squeak! Alright, come here. I reached out my hand. The hamster climbed up and made itself comfortable in my breast pocket. You're an intelligent one. I rolled the rug up and moved it aside. Then I saw it was hidden underneath. A hatch. Thinking about it, buildings such as this tower do generally have basements. How did I not think of that earlier? I might have returned home without any knowledge of its existence. I pulled the keys out once again. Not this one. Nor this one either. Bingo. With a clear click, the lock was released. I slowly opened the hatch using both of my hands. The entrance to the basement was pitch dark like still water. I dived into the darkness with the aid of an oil lamp. It won't be easy to use my rapier in this narrow tunnel. I'd brought a dagger with me just in case, but I regretted not having studied how to use it properly. I would have trained more if I had known I would find myself in this kind of situation. The torches hung on the walls brightened the passage as I lit them. Then a large room at the end of the passage caught my attention. The room seemed to be used as both an emergency shelter and cellar, as it was filled with food and daily necessities. I also found an axe and a crowbar inside crates. The axe even seemed sturdy enough to use as a weapon. This should be sufficient to break open the doors. Let's head back up. Squeak, 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 squeak! Unexpectedly, the hamster stopped me when I tried to leave the basement. What's wrong? Squeak, squeak! Its head popped out of my pocket and directed me towards a couple of grain sacks. It seemed hungry. I should feed it grains. It seemed to be trying to tell me something. I should take another look around. Let's look around. It does say grain sacks. We should investigate the grain sacks. I wish we could be purposely intentional to be take another look around, but specifically with the grain sacks. I'm gonna go with taking a look around. I placed the axe on the ground and moved the grain sacks to the side. Okay, good enough, I guess. A crack in the wall was revealed when I pushed the sacks and crates away. It seemed large enough for a person to crawl through. This entire room is suspicious. It's hidden, and there's even another secret passage inside. The crates must have been placed there to hide the crevice. Occasionally, a buzzing sound came from the other side of the hole. What now, Ekaterina Ivanova? It didn't take long for me to decide what to do next. Ekaterina Ivanova doesn't give up without a fight. And you continue to refer to yourself in the third person. For my own sake, I must find out what's in there. The crevice was too narrow for me to swing an axe, so I packed it in my bag and crawled along with a dagger in hand. Chapter 2: Prometheus. Romanoff never told me about this. So, we're gonna investigate the secret room, and we'll see what comes of that next time. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Hopefully this was entertaining so far, and thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one. Bye.